Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Monday, 3rd November 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. The aftermath of Hurricane Melissa sees quick response from Jamaica's friends, starting with Barbados. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us. So we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Motley sends aid to Jamaica.
The Department of Emergency Management in Barbados has already provided 2 containers of tarpaulins, cots, and emergency generators. And in addition to the 5,000 food kits that the World Food Programme is sending down, you would have heard Liz Sedima talk about 7,000 people so far displaced and in shelters and likely to rise. We in the government will also supplement that by another 5,000 kits, which we hope to send down by along with the ones from the World Food Programme. Those food hampers, food boxes, food kits, whatever you want to call them, effectively provide dry foods and tin foods for a week for a family of 3. So that we really do believe that this can help. I just spoke to Prime Minister Holness, who reinforced the need for urgent support with respect to either food, monetary donations, or emergency logistical supplies, as we're doing with the tarpaulins and the cots and the generators. I have already received calls from a number of persons across the country, and they have all indicated that they would want to be part of the effort. We're going to make sure that the DEM announces tomorrow how you as ordinary Bajans can continue to supplement what the government is doing, what the World Food Programme and other international partners are doing. So whatever we can do by supplementing from here in the short term, we should do. The list of items will be provided because as much as people are interested in giving any and everything, it makes sense for us to focus on those things that will really have a lasting benefit to help as many people as possible. And some of these things will equally have to be sanitary items in addition to the food, because a man and a woman don't feel like a man and a woman if they can't brush their teeth, if they can't use the bathrooms properly, if they can't have soap and those different types of things.
United States Disaster Assistance Response Team arrives in Jamaica. CVM's Anthony Lugg reports.
In the shattered quiet after Hurricane Melissa's roar, the people of western and southern Jamaica are picking through the wreckage. Residents of St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland have been trying to clear fallen trees and reconnect cut-off communities for days. Amid the heartbreak, a glimmer of hope arrived Thursday afternoon as a United States Disaster Assistance Response Team DART touched down at the Norman Manley International Airport.
The U.S. Disaster Assistance Response Team are making their way outside of the aircraft. This is a clear sign of what's to come.
You may have heard over the last few days, President Trump and Secretary Rubio expressed their strong support for Jamaica. As the minister alluded to, this is the first concrete example of that in terms of we're sending in not only aid on this plane, but also experts. You'll see 40 or 50 people come off of this plane, including Fairfax County Fire Rescue, search and rescue experts. because we're here to help the people of Jamaica recover from this devastating hurricane. And I hope to be out here all week long greeting other shipments as they come in.
Within the next few hours, convoys of U.S. and Jamaican personnel will be heading west, where some communities remain marooned. The team will work alongside the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, and the Jamaica Defense Force.
The main focus is relief clearance, which is happening here, logistical operation, relief distribution, and damage assessment. Relief distribution is the most critical part of it because we have to get food, water, medicals, and other things to the persons who are out there who are suffering.
The arrival of international assistance mark a critical moment in Jamaica's recovery effort. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says it's the beginning of what's to come.
Tomorrow, I'm expecting 10 of the big helicopters out of the United States that are now staged in Cayman. Those are the hospital helicopters and also the big helicopters. So you're talking about, the days and weeks to come, as hard as it's going to be, with the support of the international community and our diaspora and everybody. We're going to get it done.
As the team looks to begin their search and roll out relief into isolated areas, a reminder, even in disaster's wake, help can still find its way through the storm.
We thank the international community for all of their assistance. There are many more to come. And we are, as we said earlier today, the government is doing everything we can to get to the communities that have been marooned and to get food to them and critical supplies to them.
Anthony Lugg, TVJ News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Attorneys representing Azruddin and Nazar Mohammed have challenged the basis of their clients' arrest and possible extradition to the United States, arguing that no credible evidence was presented in court to justify such an action. Appearing before Georgetown Magistrate Judy Latchman on Friday, the legal team led by attorney-at-law Siand Dejean and senior counsel Roysdale Ford maintained that the prosecution's submissions were legally flawed and unsupported by evidence. Travis Chase of HGP Nightly News has more.
Although the prosecution objected to bail being granted to the Mohammeds, they failed to convince Magistrate Judy Latchman that the father and son duo were flight risks. Lead attorney Siand Dejean said the prosecution's submission in opposing bail raised several legal red flags.
They have not provided any documents whatsoever of their evidences yet. We applied for those documents. They ought to bring them on that next date as well. We are pleased that our magistrate saw it fit to award bail to both defendants in the sum of $150,000 only.
Dejean contended that the offenses listed in the U.S. indictment are not extraditable, noting that most of the alleged offenses are not recognized under Guyanese law.
The offenses for which Azruddin and Nazar Mohammed are wanted in the U.S. are not extraditable offenses under the laws of our land, nor under the treaty with which we have an arrangement.
He added that his clients had already informed authorities of their willingness to legally cooperate with any extradition request, stressing that issues of constitutionality now arise in how the matter is being handled.
Because we have alleged a constitutional breach in the amendment to the Fugitive Offenders Act. Now, the Constitution says where we raise such a constitutional point, the magistrate is duty-bound to refer it to the High Court.
Senior counsel Roysdale Ford also told reporters that no tangible evidence was presented to the court to support the extradition, only unsubstantiated statements.
Well, I don't believe that this afternoon any evidence was presented. What we have was a string of unsubstantiated statements, which we asked them to produce. The basis for it, was there any affidavit evidence? You can't make such a serious accusation bordering on treason and come to the court and simply make a statement. These things would allegedly be happening for months. And the state of Guyana is armed not only with extradition facilities, they're armed under the law with the right to put a citizen in preventive detention.
In early October, a grand jury in the United States Southern District of Florida indicted the Mohammeds on multiple counts of wire and mail fraud and money laundering. Most of the charges stem from alleged gold exports to the United States by the Mohammeds enterprise. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Venezuela to punish Trinidad and Tobago for backing U.S. plan to strike against Maduro. Time XP News has more.
Now, a few days ago, a United States Navy destroyer, the USS Gravely, arrived in Trinidad for joint military drills. Now, on paper, these are supposed to be routine exercises, right? The kind of training that missions the United States conduct with friendly nations all the time. But in Venezuela's eyes, this is no friendly visit. Their president, Nicolas Maduro's government, says that Washington is using these drills to intimidate Venezuela and build a military presence right next door. In the meantime, Venezuela's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, she also didn't hold back. She called Trinidad's decision to host the US warship a hostile act, accusing the country of joining Donald Trump's so-called war agenda. She even hinted that Venezuela could cancel key energy deals with Trinidad, a big deal because both the countries are partners in several natural gas and oil projects that feeds industries and power stations across the Caribbean. Now, to understand the gravity of this, remember that Venezuela and Trinidad are separated by just 11 kilometers of water. That's right, 11 kilometers of a sea. Their coastlines are practically within the sight of each other. And that's what makes this face-off really dangerous, because one wrong move, one miscommunication could easily spiral into a diplomatic or even military crisis here. In the meantime, the US insists the USS Gravely's mission is routine, part of its ongoing effort to combat drug trafficking and strengthen regional security here. But for Venezuela, this is not just about drugs anymore. It's about American power inching closer to its borders. Maduro claims that the US is trying to encircle Venezuela much like it did with Russia and China, and what Washington's real goal is to pressurize Caracas over it. Over ties with Moscow, over ties with Iran. Now, President Trump, on the other hand, has been intensifying his rhetoric against Maduro, calling his government a criminal network. A network that is involved in drug smuggling, corruption, human rights abuse, every single thing. Well, Washington has imposed dozens of sanctions on Venezuelan officials and even offered rewards for his arrests. But here's where things get even messier. Trinidad and Tobago has been walking a tightrope. It is friendly with both Washington and Caracas. The country relies on the US partnerships for trade and defense, but also imports gas from Venezuela for its energy needs. Now, with the US warships docked at its port, Trinidad risks angering one of its biggest regional neighbor, and that can mean economic trouble for them. Analysts warn that if Venezuela goes ahead and suspend its gas deals, energy prices in that region will skyrocket. It would also deepen division in Latin America, where countries are already split between supporting Washington's hardline stance and those who are backing Maduro's defiance. So basically, what happened as a routine military drill, it can spiral into a full-blown diplomatic storm. On one side, you have the US and Trinidad. On the other hand, you have Venezuela, quietly backed by Russia and Iran. And wait, in the middle of all this, a question that could reshape the Caribbean's future. Will this stay a war of words, or is that region heading towards something much, much darker?
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Tillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.